The Public Transport Council is adjusting the formula used to calculate annual price adjustments of public transport fares. This is part of a bid to reduce volatility of fare changes and ensure prices remain affordable for commuters. The Transport Ministry has accepted the recommendations. Geraldine Yap has more.
The current fare adjustment formula has been used since 2018 to derive the maximum public transport fare hike allowed. The first three components are indices reflecting core inflation, wage and energy costs. These will be retained as they continue to reflect the operating cost structure. A new capacity adjustment factor will be introduced based on actual and planned capacity improvements from 2020 to 2026. This will be set at 1.1% for the next 5 years. It replaces the network capacity factor, which had seen huge fluctuations over the last few years and was excluded from last year's fare review.
The purpose and intent is the same, to cover part of the increase in cost due to capacity improvement. What has been different is the operating environment has changed. If you look at NCF, we have included the ridership because then it was more stable, things are more certain. If you look how NCF changes over the last 5 years, the first 3 years of implementation is ranged from 1.6 to 3.9. Thereafter, due to a pandemic, actually it shot through the roof to 50%. We have removed ridership to make it more stable over the next 5 years for commuter.
One analyst says accounting for the cost of capacity improvement is necessary, as the cost of running the public transport system tends to rise much faster than ridership over time.
And this is actually a good thing because it means Singaporeans have less congested rides and more options. But then what it means is if there's no way of accounting for this structural change in the fare formula, what will inevitably happen is basically the taxpayer will have to pay more and more every single year to upkeep our system. So I see the capacity adjustment factor as just a way of trying to keep the share of the system cost that the commuter is paying relatively constant over time.
And to spur public transport operators to be more productive, a fixed productivity contribution based on expected gains will replace the productivity extraction, which was based on actual gains achieved or not. This will be set at 0.1% until 2027.
The expectation of the PTOs is that they will continually work on productivity improvements, but you can also see it is their contribution to our larger goal of maintaining fare affordability.
Another recommendation is to retain a mechanism that allows for fare adjustments to be deferred to future fare review exercises in part or in full when economic or social conditions are poor. Now, for example, in last year's review, 10.6% of the fare adjustment quantum was carried over in light of the large spike in energy prices. The new formula will be used for this year's fare adjustment, to be announced in the second half of the year.